Hey guys, let's get back to the case of Jeffrey MacDonald. You know how we were talking about Helena Stokely and how she knew somehow that the children's rocking horse was broken? She was the one who was supposedly the woman with a blonde wig and wearing, I think, knee-high leather boots and a floppy hat the night of the murders at the MacDonald home. Well, I just watched the first 10 minutes of a 35-minute interview conducted by Ted Gunderson, who was very highly respected. He interviewed Helena Stokely all about the MacDonald murders. And through the years, there has been a lot of debate going on about whether or not Helena Stokely was actually at the house the night of the murders, because obviously, if she was, then it could be that Jeffrey MacDonald is telling the truth when he says he did not murder his wife and his children, right? I'm going to put the link to that interview in the description part underneath this video. Take a look at that interview if you have some time and see what you think. Because, quite frankly, before watching this interview, that kind of troubled me that there was somebody saying that the rocking horse was broken. Like, how would she have known that, right? Unless she was there. But then remember, the Valentine that Mrs. MacDonald had given her husband, the card was still standing in the living room, which supposedly was where, three men were attacking Jeffrey MacDonald and the big fight took place, right? Well, how did a greeting card stay standing if there was really a fight in the living room? It wasn't that big of a living room, remember? So anyway, if you have any doubts about whether or not that Helena Stokely was telling the truth when she would say that she was there at the house the night that Colette and Kimberly and Kristen were murdered, then you might want to take a look at that interview. Just my own observations from the first 10 minutes of that interview, to me, I don't think Helena Stokely seems credible at all. At all. That's just my take on it. But I'm interested to hear your take on it. So take a look at that video and let us know what you think. There were a couple of things that she said that were really kind of weird. Very weird. But at the very beginning, they talk about how her story has changed. She evidently was interviewed right away after the murders and she said she wasn't there. And then, like 10 years later, she said she was there. And then when she was contacted again, she said she wasn't there. And Ted Gunderson brought that to her attention. And she said, well, her story never really changed. The only thing that changed was whether or not she was willing to give up the names of who the people were who I guess one of them was her boyfriend, and then the other two were other friends in the group that she claims went to the MacDonald house and murdered Jeffrey MacDonald's wife and children. Well, that's not exactly the truth, because the truth is she did change her story again and again and again. And then she talked about the cult too. And she said she was pregnant and she was really worried and she had received threats because the firstborn baby is the one that's in danger. I don't know, you guys. That seems a little too far out there. So the whole thing is just weird. But if you're bothered by that whole rocking horse being broken routine, definitely take a look at this video. And I think you might find, like I did, that Helena Stokely person probably did a few too many drugs in her youth.